WYFF News 4 at 11 starts right now.
Primary results coming in.
All eyes starting to look to November's general election. WYFF News 4 is your place to turn.
It starts at the local level.
For live Commitment 2024 primary election coverage.
You have that right, and you should, use that right to vote. Just that's your voice.
Results are coming in, and some races have been called.
Others are heading to a runoff. From Congress to Columbia and races in the upstate, we have live and local team coverage for you throughout tonight's newscast.
We begin tonight with the race for U.S. House District 4. Incumbent William Timmons faced off with challenger Adam Morgan. The race is still too close to call.
With 76% of the vote in, Timmons has 52%. To Adam Morgan's 48%. Our Jane Robelo is live with the latest on this race. Jane, what can you tell us?
Well, Carol and Nigel, candidate Adam Morgan came down to address the people that were gathered here about 10:30. And at that time, his campaign had actually gone precinct to precinct to look at numbers. They were reporting at that time that Timmons had 58.7% of the vote to Morgan's 49.04, with some 40 precincts still to report. But he did come down and kind of gave what seemed like a concession speech. His campaign said it was not one, but he thanked all of the people here. He said that it had been a pleasure to represent this district. He thanked his family. He also bragged that every Freedom Caucus incumbent has won re-election tonight, and his fight is not over, saying this.
I am very optimistic about the future of this nation and the future of this state and the future of this district, because I know that along with all of you and all of our fellow conservative neighbors and grassroots activists, we're going to continue fighting for our values, we're going to continue fighting for the state, and we're going to continue fighting for our kids' future.
And Adam Morgan, again, this is not officially a concession speech, but we have been told that he will not speak again tonight, no matter what those final results show. We are waiting to hear from the William Timmons campaign. In Greer, Jane Robelo, WYFF News 4.
Thank you, Jane. In any case, the winner will face Democrat Catherine Harvey in November. We caught up with the Democratic challenger tonight.
We do know that regardless of who wins that primary, I'll be challenging an extreme candidate who's running for Congress. So when I say back to basics, I mean genuinely getting back out into the community.
A runoff election has been declared for the U.S. House District 3 race.
Republicans Mark Burns and Sherry Biggs are the top two vote getters tonight. Nobody reached 50% mark of the vote, leading to that runoff. Our Peyton Furtado is live with one of the candidates moving forward, Mark Burns.
That's right, Nigel. Yeah, you could hear Mark Burns' watch party before you even saw it, as excited voters and their family members gathered around the candidate, chanting his name, Burns, 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 over and over again, with each result coming in. Now, that pastor has run for U.S. House District 4 in 2018 and 2022, running for District 3 this time around. In this 9-candidate race, one big thing that stands out about Burns, he's the only Trump-endorsed candidate running for this office.
This district is the deep red, the deepest red district in the entire state. And the president knows that he needs an AOC or an Ilhan Omar like Mark Burns, but for the Republican Party, the conservative movement. He calls me his pit bull for a reason.
And when we asked him about the runoff and his opponent, Sherry Biggs, in that runoff, he says he's going to outwork her and make District 3 great again. For her response, I'm going to defer to my colleague Stephanie Trotter. She's also in Anderson right now. She has more on that. Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Peyton. This room erupted with applause about 9:20 when the results came in. Lieutenant Colonel Sherry Biggs in the middle of it, watching the lead flip-flop all night. Addressing supporters, the lieutenant colonel acknowledged the hard work of opponents who did not make the runoff, and then directly started listing differences between herself and Mark Burns.
The voters need to see that there is a clear difference, and they need to know who Sherry Biggs is, completely different than my opponent, Mark Burns.
She believes her real-world experience as an active member of the military, a nurse practitioner, wife and mother, sets her apart from Burns. She also pointed out how his admitted lies about a college education and serving in the Army Reserve offend so many.
I'm a combat veteran and I continue to serve. So for me and those I've cared for over the years, that's a slap in the face. So I take that very seriously.
Over the next 2 weeks, she wants to get out and meet as many voters, new voters, as she can, while also continuing to connect with her base that includes veterans, Christians, and as she likes to call them, Mama Bears. Reporting live in Anderson, Stephanie Trotter, WYFF News 4.
Stephanie and Peyton, thank you very much. In the Democratic primary for U.S. House District 3, Brian Best is the projected winner over Francis Goldner. Best will face either Mark Burns or Sherry Biggs, whoever wins the Republican runoff for the nomination.
I'm very happy, but at the same time, I know I got 5 more months to win. So it's been 30 years since this district been won by a Democratic candidate, and I want to break it. I want to be the first candidate to win in 30 years because I believe I'm the best candidate.
In Greenville County, we go to the race for State House District 22.
Paul Wickensheimer is leading over Stan Savakis.
Our Ray Urena is live in Greenville County with more on this. Ray.
This is a contest between two well-known leaders in Greenville County, with both candidates serving time on county council prior to launching their campaigns. Now, this race for SC District House 22 is to fill the seat of incumbent Jason Elliott, who is running for state senate. Wickensheimer is the former clerk of court and county council member for Greenville County. Juvelakis is the current county council member for District 22. We caught up with Wickensheimer just moments ago, who says he's feeling good about his lead.
I felt like I really enjoy helping people, I enjoy serving people, and I enjoy getting things done and rolling up my sleeves, and I believe that if I'm given that opportunity, I could do just that.
We reached out to Juvelakis, who says he has no official comment and is waiting for more votes to come in before making a decision on his campaign. Now, the winner of this primary will face Democratic nominee Brand Fowler on the November ballot. Live in Greenville County, Ray Urena, WYFF News 4.
Ray, thank you. In the Democratic primary for State House District 25, incumbent Wendell Jones is the projected winner over Bruce Wilson. You can see with 79% of the votes in, he is at 75% of the vote. The winner will face Republican Tim Kennedy in November.
In the Republican race for Greenville County Sheriff, Hobart Lewis has declared himself the winner. He's the incumbent and gave an acceptance speech. Here you see with 43% of the vote in, he has 83% of that vote to Mike Fortner's 27%, or 17% rather. This race is uncontested, meaning there is no challenger in November.
In the Republican race for Spartanburg County Sheriff, incumbent Chuck Wright is the projected winner over Nick Duncan. With 100% of the vote in, Chuck Wright wins with 84% of the vote. This race is also uncontested.
I'm going to put all the bad guys, and I'm not talking about people that just make casual mistakes. I'm talking about the drug dealers and the people that act a fool and shoot up houses. I'm putting you on notice. We are fixing to press harder than ever. Spartanburg County will be a safe county. Our citizens deserve it, and we're going to give that to them.
Now to Spartanburg County for State Senate District 12.
Right now, Lee Bright is leading this race. Our Taniqua Penix is live in downtown Spartanburg with more on this. Taniqua?
Well, good evening, Carol. Nigel, candidate Lee Bright held his watch party here at Apollo's House of Peace. Now, the former senator was in a good spirits, but this race will have to be a runoff because a candidate needs 50% of the votes to win. Bright has 36.7%, and Roger Nutt is behind him with 24.6%. There were 2 other Republicans in this race. The runoff is scheduled to take place in 2 weeks on June 25th. Now, I spoke with Lee Bright here, and he was in good spirits, as I said, and he appreciates all the support. I was not able to get in touch with Roger Nutt. Reporting live in Spartanburg, Taniqua Penix, WYFF News 4.
Taniqua, thank you. In Greenville County, we are still waiting to see who will win the sole Democratic race in Greenville County.
Rashad Williams is live at McAllister Square with more on County Council District 25. Rashad?
Yeah, so this race involves incumbent Ennis Fent, who has served 2 terms over the past 8 years. He is looking for a 3rd term, but he has 3 candidates in his way right now. Let's do a quick recap of the individuals who are looking to dethrone Ennis Fant. You have Derek Quarles, Lisa Sweeney, and Patrick Prince. The results right now show Fant leading with roughly 46% of the votes, and we caught up with him not too long ago to get his thoughts on having an early lead.
Super excited. We talked about the issues. The community has always been very supportive. They've been, expressed their approval of the work and the job we've done, and they demonstrated that tonight by coming out and supporting us, and we're looking forward to 4 more years.
Fant says he's confident that if this race has to go to a runoff, that he will come out victorious. But right now, Derek Quarles is trailing Fant in second place with 34% of the votes. That's a rough number at this hour. We'll continue to keep you updated as the final results come in throughout the night.
Thanks, Rashad. Let's get a great look at your weather outside. 77 degrees right now. It's a toasty night outside, but it's about to get very hot this week. From the 70s right now, back to the 80s tomorrow, and then eventually the 90s, and a stretch of the 90s locked in this week with dry weather. You can see it right now on our Skycam where it's still 77 in Greenville. East winds at about 3 miles per hour. At least the humidity wasn't as high today. Tomorrow it creeps back up a little bit. It's 71 in Anderson, 68 in Spartanburg, 71 in Clemson, and 70 right now in Asheville. Over the next 12 hours, look for those temperatures to cool on down to the low to mid 60s with sunshine tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a hot day, but a dry day. Later this week, we crank the heat up, and I'm talking big time. Coming up, I'll map out the stretch of 90s locked in and how long it'll stick around for your town.
Chris, thank you. Here's a look at more primary results. We continue our live coverage after the break.